Welcome to this week's Down Home with Tina. I am your host, Tina Thompson. Thank you so much for checking out the show this week. I've got some really great guests coming up here in the next half hour. But before I get started, it has been one of those days. So if you've ever had it, if you're a busy person like I think that I am most days, I had washer going, the dryer going, baking cookies, because I bake cookies for each and every show that I have for my guests, and I had something in the microwave, and I'm downstairs and I'm also ironing things and I'm getting ready. I've got big projects that I'm working on that are also not just for the Down Home with, well, this show, but it's taking me elsewhere out of town before the show. Anyways, so I'm standing in the kitchen and I hear a beep. How many of you have this happened to? I'm like, okay, I look at my dog because it's just me and my fur baby, Sage, and I was like, where did that beep come from? I was like, which one? So I'm standing in the kitchen and I go and I check the dryer. Nope, the dryer, it's not the dryer, it's not the washer. And I was like, it wasn't the cookies. And I looked up, it was my coffee I had in the microwave. I had totally completely forgotten I had put the coffee in the microwave. But that's not the only thing that I had done today. And this is where I got to remind myself to just slow down, take a deep breath. It's okay. I know that we always, we sometimes have a lot of things going on, like me. But I got to here at the station and I was getting changed into because I do a couple of shows at a time. Anyways, I was changing and I'm laughing. I'm in the ladies' room and I'm just cracking up laughing. And I walk out and I go, oh, Josh, I said I have tried to put my pants on backwards twice today. I go, it's just one of those days. I don't know what's beeping and what timer's going off or what's happening, which way I'm going. Folks, I'm just here to tell you, just take it in stride, enjoy the day as it comes and the moment, and try to do your best to just get through it with a smile on your face. I eventually got everything done and had my pants on the right way. So here I am at the show, getting here ready to just chat with some amazing folks. I've got coming up Mike Shook from the Ohio Glass Museum and Glass Blowing Studio, and also it is Fire Prevention Month, so I have Assistant Chief Maffin with the Lancaster Fire Department going to talk with us about some things to keep in mind for fire prevention and what we should do to keep us and our families safe. It's Down Home with Tina. Mike Shook is coming up next.
The Frankie Smith Funeral Home and Crematory in Lancaster and the Johnson Smith Funeral Home in Baltimore have a long and wonderful history of serving our community. Feel free to give us a call at 740-653-0652. Stop in and see us at either of our two locations, 405 North Columbus Street in Lancaster and 207 South Main Street in Baltimore. Respect for tradition, regard for change.
Hi, I'm Brandon. I'm a recovering addict. For 10 of the last 11 years, I've been struggling with addiction, homelessness, incarceration, and just loneliness. However, since getting clean this past year, I've accomplished more than I have in those 10 years combined. After attending outpatient counseling services, inpatient counseling services, living in a sober living house, and attending 12-step meetings, I've been able to regain control of my life and begin to achieve goals I've always dreamed of. Addiction can destroy lives in many ways. Whether you need help with childcare or financial assistance, everyone deserves a new beginning. Recovery supports are just that, supports for recovery. My life mattered. Your life matters too.
This message is brought to you by the Fairfield County Adam H. Board.
Welcome back to Down Home with Tina. I have Executive Director Michael Shook from the Ohio Glass Museum and Glass Blowing Studio. How are you?
Hey, I'm great, Tina. Thanks for having us back. It's been a while since we've been together.
It has. It's been almost or about a year, I think it is. Maybe November it will be about a year.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, because we were talking about something else. A lot of different things going on and taking place.
Oh my gosh.
Huh. Yeah. Like I say that like,
And it's all good. It's all good.
Good, because I know that sometimes there are changes that have to take place in some of the different organizations, even businesses.
Right.
But you guys were shut down, right, as you were getting ready to have something happen. And it couldn't happen like many places. Yeah, but you said that there have been some positive out of all of this. So what's been going on?
Well, one of my favorite expressions is necessity is the mother of invention. And living through this period of time, the pandemic, and dealing with the whole virus situation, we had to examine how we were doing things. And in some cases, we feel that we had through the changes that we've made, that we're enhancing the museum experience.
Good.
Through our gift shops and through the actual tour of the museum. So these are changes which we think are positive. We may go back at some point, but for now, this is our future. This is our new normal.
What a great way to look at it, because we just can't help, sometimes we're forced to make change.
Absolutely. One of the, I know we chatted a bit earlier about, are we doing glass blowing demonstrations? Are we doing the classes? Well, let's take care of the big issue right now. The classes are on hold.
Okay.
Until a later date. We just don't know when that's going to happen. And I know the community really has embraced our classes. But the glass blowing demonstrations, with due respect to the health of our glass artists, as well as our guests that are viewing the demonstrations, we thought we had to do something different to ensure everybody's safety and well-being.
Sure.
So what we've done now is that we've taken a page out of your book in that we now have video that is live streaming from our glass blowing studio to our auditorium. And now we're broadcasting glass blowing demonstrations live on big screen in high definition. And actually what it has turned out is our guests have become more engaged with the whole process.
Nice.
Because at the end of the demonstration, our artist comes into the auditorium and we do mask.
Yeah.
And then there's a Q&A session.
Neat.
And like I say, the intimacy now is it's verbal instead of
Yeah.
a nod of the head or that kind of acknowledgement.
And hoping that these folks are so interested that they will, when you have the classes come back open for folks, they will really want to be a participant in those classes.
And so many people have said, well, we've seen glass blowing before, but we've never seen it like this. And they really enjoyed it.
Good.
So they didn't feel that the experience was diminished by doing it this way.
Now you do still have the gift shop open, right?
Oh, absolutely.
For folks who are watching, they can then purchase things.
That is huge for our museum as a nonprofit, is the amount of business that we get through the gift shop.
Obviously, right now you are working on pumpkins, right?
Yes, our museum pumpkin patch is open for business.
That's awesome. Can folks put in and place orders for different colors they would like?
We certainly can make pumpkins to anybody's specifications, but of course we do the classic orange, and the piece that you have there near you.
This is gorgeous.
That's
It's so
almost
pretty.
like a confetti. I don't know if the folks at home will be able to see that, and of course, just as a coincidence, just in time for the football season, we've been able to grow a scarlet and gray pumpkin.
I love it. That is beautiful.
So you can make the connection to the team of your choice.
There's a local business that has recently gone out of business, and they did have glass pumpkins. And I remember somebody saying, I have a set of glass pumpkins, and it's unfortunate that you're now out of business, but hey, guess what?
Yeah.
They can get a kind of pumpkin, like you just said, to their specifications. So if there's a certain glass color that you have, or even if you had a glass pumpkin you purchased somewhere else and it's no longer available, they can actually have it made by you guys.
Sure,
I love that.
We will definitely entertain taking special orders, that's for sure.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, so of course, needless to say, throughout the gift shop, you're going to find a variety of unique gifts.
Yeah.
You know, glass paperweights seems to be an all-time favorite, especially for maybe the man or the business person, businesswoman in your life, something like that to be on their desk.
And right now, it's beautiful to have the weather as it is and the windows open.
Oh,
so that's
absolutely.
what these are for,
Yeah,
too.
keep your papers from flying all over your desk.
That's right. You can enjoy the beautiful weather, the inside from the out coming in. Right? Isn't that what paperweights are usually for, typically? Or decor, just general decor, whatever you want to use it with.
Well, I'll tell you, coming you know, from our closure in the middle of March to reopening the middle of June, we were all holding our breath about when we reopened. And the old saying, you know, build it and they will come. Well, open the doors, will they come? Well, much to our surprise, we were welcomed with open arms. I'm not saying people were standing in line to get in, but my golly, again, the community, I think everybody was getting cabin fever.
Oh, yeah.
And they were ready to get out and about.
Yeah.
And they came to the gift shop and they bought pumpkin after pumpkin. People were asking, when are you going to have more pumpkins? Because we were selling out of.
That's a good problem to have.
Yeah, and so we were truly, I'll use the word, we were blessed with the people that came to the museum, remembered us, and that saw all of the notifications that we're reopening. So we were just over the moon.
Mike, when will you be taking orders, or you may already be taking orders for the ornaments, because you have an ornament here that's
now we have a variety. We probably have an assortment of maybe 200 or 300 ornaments to choose from that are, I'll say, off of the shelf. Okay. And that's what we have here. And this is now looking at possibly another season that's ahead of us, the Christmas holiday season. And we're working on a program there where we might put together a package where you can buy maybe an assortment of 3 Christmas ornaments.
Nice.
And we're working on the plans to finalize that.
So, and they can stay up to date how on that? Because I know we've got something else to talk about as well before we run out of time, because this is going way fast.
We'll be putting out some notifications through the various, our Facebook page, or our Twitter, Instagram pages. So we'll be posting that kind of information.
Couple of minutes on planes, trains, and autos.
Oh yeah, fun. I have to admit, this was my brainchild, which I'm kind of proud of.
You look like it. You should be.
Only this just happened to be the first exhibit that I suggested and the committee accepted.
Oh, I love it.
And then I found out how much work it went into putting together the details. Oh, great idea. Run with it, big boy.
Funny, Mike.
And so it was pretty much a year in the making, and just mining for information, and it's kind of a fun way to look at how glass is used in these 3 modes of transportation.
Oh yeah.
And where you would find those, and certainly we know so much in today's world has transitioned into plastic. But in days gone by, anything that had to do with a plane or a train or an automobile, there was glass.
Glass, that's right.
And we have some truly unique pieces. One of my favorite pieces is an automobile vase. And we're proud to have them because those vases are also highlighted at the Smithsonian.
Oh, wow.
So that's one of our more fun pieces.
Well, one more time, your contact info, and thanks so much for being with me.
Yeah, it's been great. So much more we could talk about.
I know. We could do like a long time, like an entire show. But folks can just find you on Facebook.
Yeah, our Facebook page, Ohio Glass Museum, and certainly by phone, we're at the 740-687-0101, or email is museum@ohioglassmuseum.org.
Mike, thank you so much for being with me.
My list is so long, Tina.
I know, I'm so sorry. We're like, I know, it goes so fast. But I always enjoy having you, and you will be back, I hope.
Oh,
I'm making a lot of noise slamming on my thing, and I have no idea why I'm doing that. I don't know. Mike, we will catch up with you sooner, I hope, than later.
Yeah.
Thank you for being with me.
Yeah.
And folks, we'll be back. I've got another guest coming up. It's Down Home with Tina.
Dagger Law has been part of the Lancaster community for more than 110 years. This is where we live and work. You'll see us at festivals, sporting events, and all around town. We consider our clients as friends, and we walk alongside you through challenging times. Whether you're a growing business, a changing family, facing litigation, planning your future, or dealing with land issues, we're right here. We are local. We are trusted. We are experienced. Dagger Law.
Welcome back to Down Home with Tina. I have Lancaster Fire Department Assistant Chief Maffin with me today, and October is Fire Prevention Month. But before we get to that, I'm going to chat with him because we've never really had a conversation, the two of us, have we?
I don't think so.
Yeah, you seem like you just are a sit back, kind of take it all in kind of guy.
I try, yes.
You try. Aw. Well, I'm glad that you're able to be here with me today because I had contacted Chief Ward just to see, because it is October and that's the month that I think that they do say that when you turn your clocks back, then that's when you should make sure your battery in your fire alarm, smoke alarm, detector, is good, and make sure that it works. So, but we're going to talk a little bit about that. But, I went on right along with the fire department, and I hadn't had a conversation with anybody about that. So I have no idea how the guys really felt about that day, but I know how I felt about that day. What a great thing that you guys do each and every day. And you go out on these calls, and they don't know what they're going to get. For the most part. I mean, if it's an auto accident, then they know that it's going to be, an auto accident, or they kind of have a little bit of an idea probably when the call is made, but they really don't know what they're going into most times, right? Especially the medics.
Yeah, and that's, I think, for a lot of the guys that work there, or not just our fire department, but anywhere, that's some of the allure to the profession is it's something different every day.
Yes.
Even if it's, we have patients that are regulars that we go on quite a bit, and they could have something out in left field that's brand new. So, it doesn't feel the same as, sitting in an office job and shuffling papers around the desk all the time. There's always something different to do.
Yeah. Even from like day to day, there could be training one day, but if you're in the middle of training and you get a call, bam. You're out on that call. If you're in the middle of doing something else, or even preparing one of the meals or the dinners that you're out on a call. You might get to that meal in a little bit. You may not. It just depends on how it goes and what happens. Yeah.
Or it's cold, or it's, we eat it 5 hours after, what people would think is dinner time, or whenever we get to it.
You just drop it and you go. I have a couple of things that happened to me that I have to share. So on the ride along, I wanted to take things with me so I could document it or write it or whatever. And I totally didn't the first call out. It was actually for training. You guys did training that day. And we didn't get any interruptions or anything. Well, when we got back to the station, I was at engine house number 2. And we got back there, and there was a call. And the lieutenant that was on that duty, great guy. It makes me laugh because he's just like, "You going?" And I was like, "Yeah." And the medics were on the medic truck, and he's like, "There's somebody ill. If you're going, you better get on that truck." I mean, I'm laughing about it, but as hindsight, and I look back, I was just like, he's not joking. You guys are gone out there in seconds. If it's the fire truck, they're suited up. The ones who are on the fire truck run that day, fire engine run, aren't they? In seconds.
Yeah, well, response time's a big deal, and there's a lot that's been talked about with everything in town, and talking about how long it takes to get to certain parts of town, and how quickly a fire grows every 2 minutes, and how quickly somebody with a cardiac condition can go downhill. So it's we can't control traffic. We can't control a lot of times how fast we move through traffic, but we can control how quick we get out the door and get moving.
I know we're here to talk about the Fire Prevention Month, but I just wanted to, I haven't said anything about this part either. every call we are out on, people seem like they are so, flipping confused as to where to go to get off the road. But when you're in an engine, it's not tough maneuvering to try to get around some of these vehicles. When even in the medic truck, it's like, so get off on the side. What do you guys recommend for those folks who hear you guys coming?
Pull to the right.
Just pull over to the right.
Yep.
Get off to the right as quickly as you can and carefully.
Yeah,
as
safely,
you can.
but
yeah.
And coming down Memorial Drive at certain times of day, we know that moving as far as you can to the right is almost an impossible task.
Right.
If nothing else, just stop. And,
yeah,
and let us get around you.
Yes, and they did for that. So that's good. Good kudos to the community. So, okay, Fire Prevention Month is the month of October, and what are some of the important things, Assistant Chief Maffin, that we have to make sure of?
Well, you hit on one of the biggest things that we try to advertise and get PR out there for is, when we set the clocks back, was it the end of this month? I
don't know the exact date. I'd have to
Apple
look it up
does that
too.
for me.
That's right.
Change the batteries in your smoke detectors. And I know, a lot of the newer homes probably have, detectors that are built in and, operate off of electrical power, but still, even with those, you got to at least push the test button and make sure that they're working. Okay. That's the biggest thing. Other than that, during the fall, we see a lot of, for some reason, falls, we have a lot of uptick in like kitchen fires. I don't know if it's people cooking for the holidays or
starting to bake because it's cooler out.
Baking all their pumpkin pies and all that kind of stuff. That I don't eat pumpkins, but that's okay.
I won't be bringing them a pumpkin pie then.
Thanks. Just pay attention. If it's stovetop food, don't leave the kitchen. If it's stuff you're baking, don't leave the house. I mean, I get several fires every year where somebody's making something on the stovetop, and then because of their crazy work schedule or whatever, they go in and sit down for a second, and they wake up, luckily, when their smoke detector goes off and their kitchen's on fire.
That is so scary.
Or they go to run an errand and they get stuck somewhere and they leave their oven on and with their pumpkin pie in there. Mm-hmm. Those are two of the biggest, indoor fires we see.
Yeah.
The other thing that more around Thanksgiving holiday is the people that have the turkey deep fryers. Mm-hmm. You can find safety videos every year that come out about, don't throw your frozen turkey in a deep fryer and don't have it in your carport or like on the edge of your garage or, too close to where if it splashes up and, causes a flash fire, you're going to have, property damage if it causes a problem with your house, or you drop that turkey in there and it splashes that hot oil out of there.
Yeah.
Now, you as a person have burns, from that turkey fryer.
Do you recommend folks to get the fire extinguishers? Because there are different fire extinguishers, right? And I don't know if they're available to everyone.
I think
there's ones for grease and there's one for different things, right?
I guess the easiest way to put it is there's like a universal extinguisher. I mean, you can go to Target or Walmart or wherever. The thing is with those, people who have had those for a while, they need to make sure that they're still functional because, they'll go out of date and then the pressure will start to drop over the years and you'll expect it to work and you'll squeeze that trigger and get nothing. So if you have one that's 10, 12 years old, it's probably time to replace that. But
so you completely replace it. You don't get it inspected. You can just
right.
Get it
the consumer ones, you just go back to whichever box store you want and grab another one.
Okay, but it's always nice to have that on hand.
Yeah, everybody should have an extinguisher in their kitchen that's not right underneath the stove.
Okay.
Because if the stove's on fire, it's going to be hard to get your extinguisher.
Very good point. Yeah. Very good point. Anything else? Because we've got a couple minutes.
The other thing I will say is Christmas is right around the corner. Mm-hmm. For people who have live trees, please water them. Firemen are kind of a strange breed. We really like to do our jobs and we really like to go put fires out. But it's a serious bummer at Christmas time if we're putting out your Christmas tree fire and all of your kids' toys are underneath it and everything's ruined.
Yeah.
So water the live trees.
Okay. And heaters, always just be careful with the heaters.
Yeah,
they've got newer
heaters.
ones these days, but the
especially if you
heaters.
have an older one that doesn't have the safety features when it tips.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, thank you. You guys have an awesome Facebook page. Folks can always follow you guys and what you've got going on and happening. Thank you so much for chatting with me today.
No problem.
Lancaster Fire Department Assistant Chief Maffin with me today to share with us some important things about October and Fire Prevention Month. Folks, you're watching Down Home with Tina. I'll be back in just a few minutes.
Fairfield Federal. When it comes to our customers and our community, we go above and beyond to help. Our people make the difference.
We were retiring from Tucson, Arizona, and we made a retirement trip out around Ohio, having decided that's where we wanted to be. And we came across this town called Lancaster, and we fell in love with the downtown area, where the fountain is, and the memorials, and the flags, and all this stuff. And we looked around, and I said, "There's our bank, right there."
There's something to be said about a community bank in your hometown.
Right. If you live in the community, you should do business in the community as much as possible. So it makes sense to bank with the community bank where you live.
Fairfield Federal is the bank to be at. If you live in this town, or any town actually, you want to bank at a local home bank. The employees are happy here. They're conversant. Customer service is through the roof. There's nothing more you could ask for.
Personal or business banking, whatever you need, we take it seriously because we know you do. Stop by today at any of our 3 locations and see why the difference is clear. Fairfield Federal Savings and Loan specializes in banking that revolves around you.
Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender.
Welcome back to Down Home with Tina. Michael Shook with the Ohio Glass Museum, wonderful things going on over there. Hopefully you will get to check them out. And also, if you are looking for a special gift to purchase for that special someone, what a unique thing to get them. You know, like know their colors or their decor and maybe something that they would like to have. You can contact them at the Ohio Glass Museum and see what they can create for you for that special gift. Also, the Lancaster Fire Department, just a great group of men and women and the things that they do in our community. You can always follow them also. I know they've got an awesome Facebook page. Also, I invite you to check out my Facebook page. I, from time to time, will maybe go out in the community and do something fun or different as a ride-along with the Lancaster Fire Department I did a few weeks ago, and as well as the Lancaster Police Department that I did more recently, but both of them I talk and share the story about what I did those 2 days. A lot of fun and great things happening, folks, that is going on in the community. Also, I know that they've got coming up here within, what is this? I'm trying to think of my date. Within the next week or so, October 31st, the trunk or treat is downtown Lancaster. So hopefully that you'll get to make it there. I am going to be all dressed up and hopefully having some fun that day as well. As of right now, I know they're definitely having it. There's no question about it. But you can also just continue Down Home with Tina Facebook page to see what that's about. Folks, I like to bake, as most of you who watch the show regularly know. And so I've got a couple of baking tips before I see you off of the show for this week. And one of them is that, and I didn't know this, sometimes I would make my chocolate chip cookies as I make, like I mentioned before, always for the show. Sometimes they're a little flatter. And I was baking cookies. They're like a cutout cookie, but we call them mother's cookies. It was a few weeks ago with my mom, and she said something about baking soda. I didn't realize this, and that's why sometimes my cookies would be flat. My baking soda maybe was a few weeks old or a month old, because you know you don't use very much baking soda when you bake with it. So I didn't realize or even think about it going stale. So now I actually keep it in a plastic baggie, because you know it comes in the box and you open it up. Well, my cookies have been much better since I started doing that, and I'll probably purchase more of it more often because it's fairly cheap to purchase. The other thing I just wanted to make sure to let you know is that when you are baking cookies, after the first round of baking your cookies, your pan cookie sheet is already hot. You may not have to bake them as long. So keep that in mind when you go to do your second round of cookies. Folks, I just want to thank my sponsors, Huddle Tire Company, Fairfield Area Humane Society, Walker Shoe Center. They're the reason why I get to be on here and chat with you, with wonderful folks in the community, and for you to learn more about what's happening in our own town. I hope you have a wonderful, a great, blessed week, and I'll be back next week. God bless. Good day. Down home with Tina.